Yes, I'm going to explain one of the very easy topic in physics which is related to motion. The last class we understood what is distance and displacement. Here I am going to give you an idea about what is uniform motion and non-uniform motion. Okay, I'm going to explain with a simple example. Let a car start its motion from the point A. Okay, now after that it reaches a point B. So the distance between A to B is 4 meter. Likewise, distance from B to C is 4 meter. Distance from C to D is also 4 meter. And distance from D to that is also 4 meter. Okay, let it the condition like this. Each distance A, B, B, C, C, D, D all are 4 meters. Okay, and so first the car travel from A to B, which is 4 meter, by taking 2 seconds. Okay, by taking 2 seconds, the car reaches now at B. Okay, now the car is continuing its motion from B to C. It reaches cover a distance of again 4 meter by taking another 2 seconds. Okay, now the car still continue its motion from the point C and reaches a point D by covering another 4 meter by taking the same time, which is 2 seconds. Okay, now the car is at the point D. Now car is continuing its motion and from D it reaches E. Okay, by taking again 2 seconds. So from here this discussion it's clear that body travel the same distance. It is taking same distance within the same time. Okay, that body is covering the same distance by taking the same time. Such type of motion are said to be uniform. Okay, such type of motions are uniform motion. How we can understand a uniform motion? It will travel equal distance. Okay, uniform motion, that body will cover equal distance by taking equal intervals of time. Okay, equal intervals of time. That is what the uniform motion. Okay, this distance will be also same, covering distance also same, and by taking same time. Okay, now I am going to write the same data like this in the distance column, and I am writing the total distance covered at each instant and also the total time. So at first the body is at B. Okay, from A it reaches B. So the total distance cover is AB. Total distance cover is AB. How much distance it's cover? 4 meter. Okay, by taking how much time? 2 seconds. Okay, now at the second position it reaches C. Okay, at the second point it reaches C. So how much it cover the distance? How much distance it cover? It will be AB plus BC. Okay, now AB plus BC, which is 8 meters. So it travel a distance of 8 meter by taking how much time? Again, total time will be 2 plus 2. Okay, to reach a C, it taken the total time of 2 plus 2 seconds, which is 4. Okay, now at the next position the body is at D. Okay, here the position. Okay, so the total distance travel will be this AB plus BC plus CD, which will be 4 plus 4 plus 4. AB plus BC plus CD, 4 plus 4 plus 4, which is 12 meter. Okay, Now again, how much time will it take? It will take a time, total time of 2 plus 2 plus 2 second, which is 6 second. Okay, so here at the next step, the body reaches the point, last point, which is E. So the total distance covered by the body is AB plus BC plus CD plus DE. It will be AB plus BC plus CD. It will be 16 meter. Okay, so the total, by taking a total time of 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2, so it will be 8 seconds. Okay, so this is a distance time data for that object. Okay, at first it traveled 4 meter by taking 2 seconds. Then it traveled a total of 8 meter by taking 4 seconds. So how we can distinguish this uniform, non-uniform motion from this data? If the figure is not given, how can we distinguish? It will be simply we can distinguish this difference will be same. Okay, here four difference here, and here it is two difference. Okay, so in between the difference, in between the what numbers, difference will be same for a uniform motion. Is it clear? So for a non-uniform motion, logically we can say it is traveling equal distance in equal intervals of time. Now I am going to plot this distance time in a graph. Okay, I want to plot the motion in a graph. So distance I am taking like this. The distance 4, 8, 12, 16. Distance I am taking in x-axis, and the time I am taking in the y-axis. Okay, so the distance is 4, 8, 12, 16, and in the y-axis we can see the value 2, 4, 6, 8. So in the time axis, this is the time axis, which is y-axis, and this is the distance axis, which is x-axis. So in the x-axis I am taking 2, 4, 6, 8, since the time values are like this. So how can we plot? At first, the position of the body is at B, which is, or the first quadrant will be 4, 2, not the quadrant. First point will be, first ordered pair will be 4, 2. Second ordered pair will be 8, 4. The third ordered pair will be 12, 6. Ordered pair means that you studied in maths, that is xy points. How to plot the xy points? So first xy point. So now we are studying what uniform and non-uniform motion in detail. So you understood that in uniform motion, body travels equal distance by taking equal time. Okay, so first moment, if that body is covering 4 meter by taking 6 seconds, the next moment also he cover the same 4 meter by taking the another 6 seconds. Such motions are called uniform motion. So, and I'm just giving this is one example for such uniform motion. We are going to plot distance time graph for such a uniform motion. How we came to know? By giving this data, how we came to know this is a uniform motion? It's clear from this difference. Okay, so same difference you can see in between the number. Four difference you can see in between the number. Here also you can see two difference. So difference will be same. If you are looking at the distance time graph, how at the moment or at the glance itself we can make sure whether it is distance uniform or non-uniform motion by using this concept, because distance in between the number gap will be same. Okay, so here four difference in between each number, consecutive number. Here also gap gap between the number is same. So I'm going to plot this distance time in a graph by taking distance in x-axis and time in y-axis. So in x-axis I am taking the distance, and the y-axis I am taking the time. Okay, so the first ordered pair will be 4, 2. So I am just plotting all the values now. 4, 8, 12, 16. Then here 2, 4, 6, 8. So the first ordered pair is 4, 2. Ordered pair means xy value. So first xy value we need to plot is 4 from the x-axis and 2 from the y-axis. So which will be here. Okay. The next point is 8 from the x-axis and 4 from the y-axis. So which will be here. And the next point is 12, 6. So here which will be here. Point will be somewhat here. Okay, then last point 16, 18, it will be here. Okay, so if we are joining the points, we will get a straight line. What do we infer from this? We plot, this is what a uniform motion. We plot the distance time graph for a uniform motion and we got a straight line. Always if you are plotting with any value, if you are plotting distance time graph for a uniform motion, it will be a straight line. So you came to know what is a non-uniform motion. Non-uniform motion means there is no order in that body's motion, which means unequal distance it travel by taking unequal time. Okay. Rating a motion means now we all are rating apps. So in the process what we are doing, we are finding out the quality of that. In terms of this motion, if your rating means, we wish to know whether the motion is slow or motion is fast. For knowing whether the motion is fast or slow, we are using another term which is speed. So rating a motion we are doing by calculating the speed. Okay, so what all things we need to consider in calculating the speed? See children, if two persons are going for a morning walk and they both travel 8 kilometers, which means can you find out the speed of in that process? It's not possible. By knowing the data of distance alone, it's not possible to find out speed. So we wish to know how much time they are taking in covering that distance. In the same example, if I am telling like this, two persons A and B went for a morning walk and they covered a distance of 8 kilometers. The A is taking covered the 8 kilometers by taking 10 minutes and the other B covered the 8 kilometers by taking 10 or 20 minutes. So all data we should know. So not only the distance we should consider in calculating the speed, but also we need to consider time. Okay, time also we need to consider in calculating the speed. So we are considering two quantities or two datas in order to calculate the speed of an object. Thereby we are rating that motion. Okay, so the speed already you studied in lower classes. The speed is distance by time. So that we after finding out this ratio, we will be able to know how much time they are taking in covering this much distance. Okay, so that is what speed. In order to calculate speed or in order to rate a motion, we need to divide the distance with that of time. Okay, only with distance or only with the time it's not possible to calculate the speed. Now if we are instead of distance, if you are calculating, if you are finding or if you are measuring displacement, in the place of distance, if we are finding out displacement and the same rating, we are rating that motion. Okay, instead of distance we are measuring the displacement. Then too, if we want to rate that motion, that is displacement by time if we want to calculate. In the place of speed, we are using another word which is velocity. Okay, so speed and velocity, both terms are we are using to rate a motion. In the case of speed, we are calculating the distance, or we are measuring the distance of an object. In calculating the velocity, we are measuring the displacement of an object. I think it's clear to you. Speed and velocity have the same logic. In both, we are rating a motion. Whether we want to find out that movement is happening, that movement is slow, or whether that movement is fast, whether that motion is fast. In both the process, we are doing the same logic. Okay, but here we are calculating the distance, or we are measuring the distance, but here we are measuring the displacement. Okay, so in physics, there is a procedure. After getting an equation, we got an equation for speed, we got an equation for velocity. Just look at a term which is unit. So children, if we want to measure the length of this pen, which unit you will prefer? Sometimes usually we will make use of the unit of centimeter. Am I right? I can't move with the unit of distance which is kilometer to measure this pen. And if I want to know the distance between our school and the house, our home, it's not possible to measure with centimeter. So in that case, we need to get a higher unit, which is kilometer we are using. So centimeter, kilometer, then millimeter, all these are the unit of distance. Distance units are centimeter, millimeter, kilometer and all. So in terms of the contest, or depending upon the situation, we are using different units. Likewise, the units of time will be seconds, hour, like that, minute. All these are the unit of time. Now we are going to calculate the unit of speed. Okay, in order to get the unit of speed, in physics we have a procedure. In order to get the unit of a physical quantity, just write the equation of that quantity. Now I want to find out the unit of speed. So I am going to write the equation of speed, which is distance by time. So speed we know, which is distance by time. Now the second procedure is, we want to find out the unit of speed. So the next procedure is, just write the unit of each quantity in this equation. So distance have the quantity on unit of kilometer. Sometimes time had the unit of hour. Okay, and sometimes if we can tell distance, if you are taking in centimeter, by time we can take in second. Sometimes meter also will be the unit of distance, so we can use the meter. We can calculate the distance in meter. Time we can take in seconds. So just select a unit of distance, then divide with the unit of time. Okay, it's up to you. We will get kilometer per hour, centimeter per second. We can use kilometer per second. Okay, all these are the possible units of speed. Okay, so in calculating the unit of speed, we just write the equation. Then in the place of each quantity, we write the units, different units. So distance have a unit of kilometer, centimeter, meter, kilometer, like that. Time have the unit hour, second, like that. So in the equation we have different quantity. So we have to write individually. the units of each quantity in order to get the unit of speed. So the unit of speed we are getting kilometer per hour, centimeter per second, meter per second, kilometer per second. So many units we will get like this. Okay, which means in this, while calculating the speed here, in the first case, maybe distance is taken in kilometer and time we are taking in hour. Secondly, in the second case, distance we are measuring in centimeter and the time we are measuring in second. In the third case, distance we are taking in meter and the time we are taking in second. Okay, so all this are the possible unit of speed, but usually in practical application we are using meter per second or kilometer per hour. These are the practical units of speed. Okay, in which usually in calculating the speed, distance we are measuring in meter and time we are measuring in second. Likewise, in calculating speed, distance sometimes we are calculating in kilometer, time we are calculating in hour. So the speed of the unit of speed become meter per second or kilometer per hour. അപ്പോൾ ഒരു ക്വാണ്ടിറ്റിയുടെ യൂണിറ്റ് കണ്ടുപിടിക്കണമെങ്കിൽ ആദ്യം നമ്മൾ ആ ഇക്വേഷൻ എഴുതണം. എന്നിട്ട് ഇക്വേഷനിലുള്ള ഓരോ ക്വാണ്ടിറ്റിയുടെയും യൂണിറ്റ് എഴുതാം. ഓക്കെ, അതായിരിക്കും ഏതിൻ്റെ യൂണിറ്റ്, ഏത് ക്വാണ്ടിറ്റിയുടെ ആണോ നമ്മൾ കണ്ടുപിടിക്കേണ്ടത് അതിൻ്റെ യൂണിറ്റ്. ദാറ്റ്സ് എ പ്രൊസീജിയർ. I think it's clear too. So speed has so many units are possible. Out of this, practically mainly we are using 2 units, which is meter per second and kilometer per hour. Thank you.